October 2025, I'm Glenn with The Ultimate Freedom, and this is my blue-collar working man RV tech industry update. Let's rock. Right out of the gate, something that a lot of people are talking about that came up. I believe one of the early ones to pick up on it was Liz Amazing. Liz Amazing, she's an RV advocate, and she helps people who have had nightmare scenarios with RVs from manufacturers. But it's an issue with Newmar. Newmar is a motorhome brand that makes just an opulent motorhome, and they should be. They're $600,000, $800,000, up to $2 million. They're just amazing. And there was a Canadian couple who bought one, used it for 2 years, really liked it, had no issues with it. Newmar's got a great reputation for quality and service and all that. But when they sold it to a dealer in Arizona, and they brought it across the border to take down to him. And it was seized at the border because the agents at the border could not find the VIN number on the chassis. And then there was VIN badging issues inside the rig. Now, I'm not going to get in the nuts and bolts of this thing other than to say two things. One, Newmar acted like a petulant child on the 6th grade playground when this was presented to them. They stomped their feet, screamed, and said, no, 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 no. It didn't happen, it's not my fault. And that's pretty much their response, which was pathetic. The other thing is the government fined these two people. It's just a couple, two people in Canada trying to sell their RV, and our government fined them $650,000. What's up with that? Good grief. Thank you, RV Miles, Jason, for bringing that point up, because I wholeheartedly agree. So if you want to find out more on this, look at Liz Amazing. She's got 2 detailed videos on it. But to me, it brings up a bigger issue that we're going to talk about. Moving on. Now, that bigger issue I'm talking about is the RV industry in general. When they get busted for doing something, instead of saying, oops, let's fix that, they stamp and kick their feet and say, no, 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 no. The other one that happened recently was Grand Design. They had frames that were flexing and cracking and breaking people's RVs, and the Momentum and the Solitude fifth wheels. And it was a real issue, and lots of people had this issue, and they kicked and screamed and stomped their feet and said, no, 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 no. And then they pointed at Lippert and said, your fault. And Lippert said, we kind of built these to your specifications, which is how the industry works. So anyway, instead of just saying, my bad, let's fix this, the industry has a problem with accepting responsibility when they screw up. And so with Grand Design, it's kind of a mixed bag, because they handled that terribly. They even made people sign NDAs to get their rigs fixed. An NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. So the people that pushed hard enough, Grand Design said, all right, we'll fix it, but you can never tell anyone. What is that? It's creepy, it's weird, it's not right. And so industry as a whole, RV industry, we're almost going to call them the legacy RV industry versus the new RV industry, which is coming up. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. You got to get it together and start doing the right thing by your customers. And so, when I mean about Grand Design being a mixed bag, they do amazing things. Like they do collaborations with Changing Lanes, and they, Chad and Tara at Changing Lanes built an entire RV because they're full-timers, and they used all of their input to make an amazing rig. And now it's in production. And they did the LJMJ from Less Junk, More Journey. And they did a really cool travel trailer with Finding Our Someday. These are channels that are favorites of my wife and I. And Finding Our Someday, he stayed with his travel trailer instead of going into a fifth wheel. And he built the coolest travel trailer I have ever seen, period. So go over to Finding Our Someday and look at the walkthrough of what Grand Design built with them. So Grand Design's amazing on that front. and then screaming like a petulant child, no, 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 I didn't do anything wrong, when there was clearly something wrong. Get it together, industry. Own your mistakes. Moving on. Now, in my previous update, I mentioned that during the COVID years, the RV industry produced crap. Pretty much. Just that simple. But there was a shining light, and his name was Brinkley. And so what I failed to mention, though, because I didn't know about them, and I've since done research and looked into them, is preceding Brinkley was Alliance. Alliance RV, and I love their tagline, join the Alliance. You got to admit, that's good. Makes me think of Star Wars for some reason. The Alliance. And so Alliance came on the scene in 2019, right before COVID hit, held it together through the COVID years, and managed to produce quality rigs. And there are 3 companies now. I call them the New Guard, and we're going to call everyone else, if they don't get it together, the legacy industry. The 3 new players that are doing amazing things. Alliance is doing amazing things. These guys right here. I really like what I've seen out of them. And their customers are saying good service, good quality, good RV. And Brinkley and Alliance were both started by industry insiders that said the quality needs to be improved. And that's why they started their companies. And so Alliance is also in that category of upping the quality for the whole industry. And just this week, before making this video, I was turned on to Axiom. Now, Axiom is another one where there's 3 guys, industry insiders, unhappy with the quality, making our own RV, and they came from the Thor and Heartland side of things. Apparently Thor is suing them for some reason, but they've produced their first RVs, and these RVs, their upgrades have upgrades. I've never seen anything like it. They've got steel walls, they're massive, 9-foot ceilings. You just got to see them. But quality, quality, quality. And Axiom caught up to me 2 years after I put a mini split in my 5th wheel, and love it, and have had no issues. Been coast to coast 4 times with it. And it's a heat pump in the winter, it's an AC in the summer, and it pulls a grand total of 4 or 5 amps. Super amazing. Axiom's got all mini splits in their new rigs. So go check out Axiom. I would suggest you look at Big Truck, Big RV, and Josh the RV Nerd. They both have Axiom walkthroughs, and these things are going to blow your mind. But they're at the top end of the scale financially, and that's not what my channel's about. But I do like looking at that stuff because you get great ideas. I already had the idea for the mini split, but other layout ideas and things that you can incorporate into your RV, watching walkthroughs and learning about stuff like that. So 3 players that are changing the game, in my opinion, is Alliance, Brinkley, and now Axiom, and I think it's awesome. Moving on. America's largest RV show. That's its trademark name. Whether it is or not, someone else can go argue about it. I don't care. The Florida Super Show, and this particular show, which the insiders in the RV industry call the Hershey Show. That show just happened, the America's largest RV show. And these 2 shows, these 2 great big shows, they have kind of a different bent. The Hershey Show, the America's largest RV show, has a lot of entry level and travel trailers to get people into RVing affordably. And the Florida Super Show has a lot of retired people with money down there. There's a lot more motorhomes and a lot more high-end rigs. And they both have a little of both, you know. Everything is at both of them. But that's kind of the focus of the Hershey Show and the Florida Show, and the differences, I should say. And one of the cool differences, or not differences, one of the cool features this year is there was a push by more than one manufacturer to push for the $10,000 mark in a new RV, which I think is fantastic. Get people into RVs at an affordable price. And so that's a cool thing to see as well. The entry level $10,000, $15,000 range on travel trailers is doing well, and the high end is doing pretty well. The middle range, couples rigs you would call them and stuff like that, they're struggling a little bit. But I like seeing the entry level stuff, and the $10,000 price point is pretty cool. Now, by way of just doing a flyover of numbers, not deep, travel trailers, they carry the market. 70% or more of all RVs are travel trailers and all sales. The fifth wheels are down a little bit in sales this year, but not much. The travel trailers are up a little bit. Motorhomes are truly struggling in the new market. And another thing that is becoming apparent in the RV industry is pop-up trailers are going bye-bye. I don't mind that a bit. I've never been a fan of those things. There are people that like them, I guess, but nobody's buying them anymore, so I guess I'm the majority now. And pop-up trailers, they're going bye-bye. And so I think there's only one manufacturer still putting them out. So bye-bye pop-up trailers. So if you want a very detailed overview, or not an overview, I did an overview. If you want a very detailed report on the Hershey Show, look to RV Miles. Jason Epperson, RV Miles. The guy, he does a weekly news thing that is fantastic, and he's kind of the best at RV news. So I would look to him. So moving on. There is a trend in the United States that is not a good trend. Wages are down, mortgages are up, rent is up. To buy a 3-bedroom house in most places in the United States takes something like a $4,000 or $5,000 a month mortgage payment. What? It's getting bad. Because of these things, even legacy news media outlets are doing stories on the number of people looking to RVs to survive, which is I've advocated for, and that's kind of my focus and what I'm all about, because RVs saved my wife and I 6 years ago in California when we were priced out of the market back then, when through injuries I couldn't be a journeyman carpenter anymore, and that was before I was an RV tech. And the RV saved us. And to this day, I love full-time RVing. And so more and more people, and I saw one of the legacy news media outlets say up to 500,000 people so far, and I don't know where they get these numbers, but that's what they said, have moved into RVs as a means of housing. And so my encouragement to you and anybody who's struggling with rent or mortgage and looking like you might have an issue or a problem, get the RV now. Get used to it, learn to use it, learn where you could place it, learn where it's affordable to stay. Do all those things now, and you'll have a huge head start, and you'll have a backup plan. And if you make it and you don't have to use it, you get to go camping and vacationing in it. But if you need it, it's sitting right there. Also, disasters, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, fires, civil unrest. All of those things could drive you out of your home. And if you've got one of these things sitting in your driveway, have it ready to roll, and you can get out of Dodge and keep your family safe. So it's a growing trend, and it's going to keep growing because the housing market and the wages and all that, they're not going to square up anytime soon. So moving on. And finally, for this update, the used RV market from right there all the way through this line, these are all used RVs at Blue Compass RV in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. And the used RV market right now, there is a lot of inventory and there are a lot of good prices. I would move on it sooner rather than later, because the story I just shared with you, people are going to start snapping these things up, I believe. And so I'd move sooner than later on a used rig, and you can get something quite amazing. In fact, right there, there's a Coleman that I did a walkthrough on that will sleep 5 people, and at this dealership it's under $15,000. But I would move on a used rig soon. There's a lot of used inventory right now, and the fact that this thing is just loaded with used inventory at this one dealership. But whether you buy, I have a video on buying from a private party and how to do it. And if you buy from a dealer, they do a PDI, and you need to demand one, a pre-delivery inspection, and make sure every item on that RV works before you drive it away. And I know they do that here at Blue Compass. You don't get a warranty, it's used, but you know the day that you drive it off the lot, everything works. And so used RV market is got a lot of inventory. Make your move is what I would say. Moving on. Thanks for coming along on this video. Blue collar RV tech overview of the RV industry. Please give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe. My first goal is 1,000 subscribers. Obviously, every YouTuber's first goal is 1,000, because that's when you can get monetized and actually make something doing this. And then after that, sky's the limit. So share this video with your friends, hit subscribe, and I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna check out this thing right here. What could you possibly fit inside there? Maybe I'll do the very shortest walk around I've ever done, and I don't think I'll even go inside. I'll probably just stand outside to do it. So thanks for coming along. I'll see you in the next video.